Welcome back. We check in with our reporters around the country with regards to the return of grade 12s. Let's see what's happening in Mpumalanga. It's where we find our reporter, Tumelo Machogo. Tumelo, a very good morning to you. What are you witnessing there?
That is unequal. As an African-American woman,
Well, Blaine, we are inside the grade 12 English classroom here at Cyril Clark Secondary High School outside Mbombela here in Matafeni, where teaching and learning resumed this morning with most matriculants actually showing up to school. There are actually 139 matriculants at this school, but only about 79 showed up this morning. So about half of them has showed up, and also half of them did not show up to school this morning because of the school had been closed for over a week now. But most of these kids, they're telling us that they are back at class because they want to resume with their education, and also because exams are fast approaching, but also they want to come to school. But let's speak to one of them quickly while the teacher is also busy with the lesson. Just talk to us about how do you feel about coming back to school?
Who's up next? Selwane.
I feel happy and hopeful, and I'm really excited because help us to pass our matric, and we're glad that it is our opportunity to continue studying and going further. We thought that this coronavirus was going to be a challenge to us, but it did not become a challenge because they made arrangements for the grade 12s to go back to school, and we are very happy. The school is barely empty, and we are studying in a very quiet environment, and we are happy.
But how was it being at home and now coming back to school? How's the difference between, like sitting at home and studying from online and all those things, but being in front of the teacher? Now the teacher is teaching. How is that difference?
It is different because the teacher is making me understanding better, because online, sometimes we don't have the data to go online and study. And most of the time it's at home, we're just sitting around and basking the sun in the morning. But now that we're back at school, the teacher is teaching us, giving us instructions and how we should do a certain study or any subject.
Do you think you're ready for the trial exams that are fast approaching?
Yes, I think we are ready.
Okay, fantastic. Blaine, just one of the pupils here actually talking to us about their readiness. They're saying that, it's better to be in front of the teacher and learning from being in class, because most of the time they don't have data by sitting at home. Most of the time they actually, they live with family, so they don't even have enough time to actually study. But when they're here in front of the teachers, that's when they actually can learn better. They can actually continue with their studies. Most of the kids did not show up, about only 79 only showed up at this school, but we have been driving around Nelspruit and Mbombela area, checking schools. Most of the schools reopened this morning with a huge number of students actually showing up this morning. But at this school, only about 79 showed up, and half of that have not showed up this morning. But we don't know if it's a problem of transportation, because we understand this school is actually one of the farm schools that was built here in Matafeni. So most of the kids have been transported here actually by scholar transport, but we understand that the buses are still outside. We don't know if they had problems with scholar transport this morning, or the kids decided not to come to school. They would rather come maybe on a Tuesday. They want to see if the school will really reopen today. But most of the schools in around Mbombela have been reopened. We'll be speaking to the Department of Education later on. They are telling us that most of the schools reopened because about 2 weeks ago, about 71 schools here in the province were closed by parents and also learners, because they're saying that they are afraid of contracting the coronavirus at schools, and then that's why the schools have been closed that time. And then the president announced that the schools will be closed for about a week, but the schools reopened this morning, and most of the schools actually reopened here in Mbombela. We've been trying to call a number of schools. They've been telling us that the schools have reopened and teaching resumed this morning. They have to really study very, very hard because exams are fast approaching, Blaine.
I just wonder, when you say that a lot of the learners haven't returned to school today, with regards to, well, there's possibility that there are transport issues, but what are you hearing on the ground from parents, from those you have interacted with? What's the sense that you're getting in terms of certain parents making a conscious decision not to send their kids back to school? What are you hearing with regards to that?
Well, the principal actually was talking to us saying that they've been calling number of these learners to actually find out if they will be returning to school. Most of them, they actually not been picking up the phones, but the parents are also telling us that they will return their kids to school. They just want to see if the schools are safe to return their kids back to school. So it is parents actually trying to make sure that actually their kids are actually safe to return to schools, because you understand that Mbombela, actually this area that we in, it's one of the epicenters in the province. We've got over 2,000 confirmed cases and only about 859 that have actually fully recovered. So you would understand that parents are still very afraid of sending their kids to school, and it's the case here. Parents are still afraid of sending their kids to school, but also most of these matric students, they are also worried about the school year. So they actually want to study hard, they want to come to school, but then their parents are saying that you cannot go to school because they are afraid that if they return to school they might contract it, they might get the coronavirus, because the city in its own, Mbombela, is one of the epicenters. So there's a bit of afraid, there's a bit of fear from parents, there's a bit of fear from students actually to return to school. But this morning we are told that some of the students say that they will return to school later this week, but some have not called the principal back to actually tell the principal when they will return to class. But the principal was telling me that they will continue with the lessons because they really need to catch up, and there's not enough time actually for these students to be sitting at home and not coming to school, because you understand that this is actually one of the schools that was built here in Matafeni, because this area never had a high school, and it's also accommodated children from farms and around outside Nelspruit, so they can come to this school to come and learn here at school, because it's the only high school here. But parents actually are worried about sending their school back to school. But also we understand that some of them will come tomorrow, they will come later this week. But the principal was telling us that the kids really need to come to school, because there's not enough time to actually sit at home, because the exams are fast approaching, and also they need to finish the syllabus as quickly as possible for them to be ready for exams.
People are advocating for in-person learning as opposed to online learning. They see in-person learning carrying a lot of benefits as well. Tumelo, thank you very much indeed for your reporting. Be well. All right, Tumelo Machogo there live for us in Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga numbers sitting at 15,000 in terms of confirmed cumulative numbers, COVID-19 numbers, 15,120. With regards to the fatalities, is relatively low, and I say relatively low because, as compared to other provinces, sitting at 78, and recoveries 8,674. I want to go